And now you're sitting here telling me I might not have the job? Peck put the mug down, on Danny's file. That's not what I'm saying, Mr. Sweeney. Not at all. I simply want to make sure things are clear here at the start. I'm certain we both have some natural concerns, and I have one concern, and that's the well-being of my boy. You tell me what your concerns are, and I'll address them. Peck picked the mug up, and Sweeney saw that it had left a brown circle on Danny's folder. The doctor was quiet for a minute, and then he sniffed again. His voice, when it came, was lower. I want to make sure you have a realistic picture of what we can and cannot do here. Your son, Daniel, has had minimal brain activity since the day of the accident. According to the records I've received, the doctors at the St. Joseph have administered all the standard and appropriate therapies. We're a research facility, and we do good work. But the last thing I would want is to give you false hope. I can promise you, Sweeney said, I'm a realist. They looked at each other until Peck blinked. All right, the doctor said, putting on the weary voice. I'll take you at your word. I appreciate that, Sweeney said. Peck looked at his watch and then slid another file out from beneath Danny's. Sweeney felt some relief. The interview was coming to an end. Your CV looks fine, Peck said. You studied at Ohio State? A nod, waiting. Concentration in pharmacognosy? Another nod. But you never went into research. I had intended to, Sweeney said, trying not to sound defensive. But it didn't work out that way. Peck smiled as if he understood, then asked, What made you decide on pharmacology in the first place? My father had his own shop. You liked working for the big outfits? Sweeney shrugged. They paid well. They moved you along. I was thinking of buying my own franchise before the accident. Peck let the last sentence hang for a beat or two. And your wife was a pharmacist as well? A nod, thinking, just ask, you little hump. When the doctor refused, Sweeney said, We met in school. May I ask if you've pursued any counseling in the last year? It was not what Sweeney expected, and he took a moment before saying, May I ask how that's pertinent to my job here at the clinic? Peck maintained a bland expression, but scratched his nose. You've suffered extraordinary stress and grief. You've lost your wife and, for all intents and purposes, your son. And I'm about to put you in charge of the clinic's drug room, which is to say, I'm giving you responsibility for all of the clinic's patients. Sweeney wanted to stand up. He wanted to move around the desk and pick up the coffee mug and break the man's stuffy nose with it. He wanted to put the fucker on the floor and kick him in the head until Dr. Peck was a patient at his own clinic. He did none of those things. He folded his hands on his knee and said, You've got my letters of reference there, Doctor. You've got my employment history, and you've probably got the results of your inquiry to the Ohio Board. I've never been cited for anything. My performance reviews have all been excellent. This position means a pay cut for me, but it seems to be the best place for my son. Now, either I have the job that was promised me or I don't. If I don't, please let me know, because if that's the case, I have to phone my lawyer and make new arrangements for my boy. Peck let the room go quiet before he stood up. I apologize, he said, if you feel my question was inappropriate. He extended his hand. Sweeney stood and took it across the desk. A smile now as the doctor moved to the exit. You'll call Cleveland and see about those missing records? I'll call, Sweeney said. Peck opened the door to the office. You'll find human resources downstairs. They'll have some paperwork for you to fill out, and you'll need to have your photo taken. Sweeney stepped into the reception area and said, Thank you, Dr. Peck. Dr. Peck nodded and said, Welcome to the clinic. The personnel manager was an older woman named Nora Blake. She wore a white summer suit and a perfume that Sweeney hadn't smelled in 20 years. She filled out his paperwork in the basement cafeteria, where she bought him coffee from an antique vending machine. The coffee was wretched, but Nora Blake was delighted.